code is BMLT5001, and currently we are in the unit 3. So in the unit 3, we have the basics of virology, introduction to virology. So here I'm directly going to the point. So in the last lecture, we discussed about classification of viruses, right? So I will discuss a brief classification, then I will discuss the morphology of the virus. So coming to the classification, viruses are classified into two types. We have DNA viruses and RNA viruses. So both in DNA and RNA viruses, we have families and species. So families in DNA viruses are HapCube. So HapCube is a mnemonic for memorizing the DNA viruses families. So can anyone say the full forms of this HapCube? What is HapCube means? What are the DNA families?
Herpes,
Herpes viridae,
adenovirus,
adenoviridae,
and P3 are
Pox viridae,
yes
very
sir,
good.
Pox,
Papaverinae,
Papua and
Parvard, very good.
Parva. Yes.
Very good. Good. Then the species are DNA has the potential. So first one is herpes viridae
Hepatitis.
viruses. So herpes viridae
Herpes,
viruses include
alpha,
alpha,
beta, gamma.
beta, gamma. Alpha viruses are herpes simplex 1, herpes simplex 2, Epstein-Barr virus, whereas beta class
Cytomegalovirus.
viruses are cytomegalovirus, and gamma is varicella zoster. Then A for adenovirus, S for smallpox, and we have a serial killer, which is hepatitis B virus. So hepatitis B is a DNA virus, whereas hepatitis A and C are RNA viruses. Then coming to the RNA viral families, here we have ProcBT or ProCBT. So ProcBT including paramyxoviruses, rhabdoviruses, retroviruses, orthomyxoviruses, coronaviruses, the recent
Corona.
pandemic celebrity, then Bunya viruses, Toga viruses, even we have Flavian picornoviruses. Okay. Then coming to the species of RNA viruses, these include the mnemonic for species is P square MMR cube and IH. So P square means poliovirus, coronavirus, rhino, rota, measles, mumps, rubella, rabies, influenza, HIV viruses are the RNA viruses, which obviously HIV causes AIDS in the patients. Okay, so these are the viral species and their families. So these are the DNA viruses and these are the RNA viruses. So uh, now I will give you a short Q&A session. So HIV, what type of virus is it? Is it a DNA or RNA? HIV.
RNA virus.
Sir,
RNA,
double-stranded RNA virus.
Oh, double-stranded RNA virus. Very good, Manish. Very good, students. Then rabies. Rabies. DNA or RNA?
RNA virus.
RNA virus.
RNA virus, sir.
Very good. Then pox virus, smallpox.
DNA,
The DNA virus.
Sir,
DNA
virus.
Very good. Measles, mumps, and rubella.
RNA,
RNA
Sir,
virus.
RNA virus.
RNA virus. Very good. Then influenza.
RNA virus.
RNA,
Very good.
RNA virus, sir.
Very good. Corona.
RNA virus.
RNA.
RNA virus. So perfect. So now you are very good at viruses. Perfect. So last and final, Epstein-Barr virus.
15.
Sir, DNA,
DNA
virus.
Very good. What class?
Sir, alpha.
Epstein-Barr
herpes,
alpha. Very good. Alpha class of herpes viridae. Very good. Alpha, beta,
yes.
gamma. So yes, very good. Then varicella zoster.
Sir,
Sir, gamma.
gamma class of herpes.
Very good. Very good. So perfect. So you are good at viral classification. I'm happy. So next is morphology of virus, students. Okay. So morphology of viruses. So now I will discuss about viral morphology. Very important. Okay. So next I'm going to discuss about viral morphology. So families and classification you already know. Then you know the introduction. Virus is an obligate intracellular infective agent that cannot survive without a living cell, and it does not require any antibiotic it is resistant to antibiotics. Okay. Then the second topic will be morphology of virus. So in the morphology, I will break down the viral morphology into three parts. Okay. So first I will discuss about the structural morphology of the virus. Then I will discuss about the chemical properties of the virus. and I will discuss about the susceptibility of the virus. Susceptibility of the virus means to what agents the virus is resistant and to what agents the virus is not resistant. That means to what agents the virus will die. For example, coronaviruses. Coronaviruses are susceptible to alcohol or any lipid digesting solutions. So coronavirus can be easily killed by using alcohol solutions. Okay, so alcohols is a susceptible feature of the coronavirus, whereas resistant will be coronavirus is resistant to moisture. If you keep moisture in the environment, virus won't die. Virus likes moisture, so virus resistant to moisture, whereas susceptible to alcohols. So similarly, I will discuss susceptibility and resistance in the third part of morphology. Okay, so first I will discuss the structure, then I will discuss the chemical properties of the virus, then I will discuss the susceptibility and resistance of the virus. So that susceptibility and resistance will varies from virus to virus. Each virus have its own properties that I will discuss later. So these are the three things I will cover in today's session particularly. Okay, if possible, I will also discuss about viral replication. So coming to the morphology of virus, in the morphology, we need to see the size, structure, symmetry, and shape of the virus. In the morphology, we will see the size of the virus, the structure and symmetry of the virus, and shape of the virus. And in the chemical properties, we will see nucleic acid, either it is a DNA virus or RNA virus, and we will see whether what type of capsids, what type of proteins present to the virus, and we will see what type of lipids present to the virus. So we are seeing the chemical properties of the virus. Then in the susceptibility, we will see how we can kill the virus, what temperatures we required, what pH we required, what type of lipid solvents we need, what type of disinfectants, and what type of radiations we can use for killing the viruses. So these I will cover in coming lecture. Okay, so I will discuss the morphology, chemical properties, and susceptibility of the virus. Coming to the morphology, the first one is size. Okay, so now I will discuss about morphology of virus, where I will cover size, structure, and symmetry and shape of the virus. So coming to the morphology of the virus. So viruses are the first one is size of the viruses. Okay, are you following me, students? Is everyone listening?
Yes, sir.
So coming to the size. So size means what is the average range of the viral sizes, starting with the smallest virus to the largest virus. So the smallest viruses will be always in nanometers in diameter. So they will be studied by nanometers instead of micrometers. Okay. So the smallest virus is 20 nanometers in diameter, whereas the largest virus is around 300 micrometers in diameter. So smallpox is the largest virus. So the largest virus is 300 micrometers in diameter. I think it is not micrometers, it is nanometer only. Keep in mind. So the largest virus is 300 nanometers, whereas the smallest virus is 20 nanometers. So example for 20 nanometer or smallest virus is parvoviruses. Parvo and papavirus. Is it DNA or RNA? Parvoviruses.
DNA.
DNA
DNA
virus.
virus.
Perfect. So the smallest virus is 20 nanometers in diameter. Example is parvoviruses, whereas the largest virus is smallpox with the size around 300 nanometers. Okay. Then the extracellular infective agent is called as virion. We already discussed this one. If the virus present outside the cell, then it is called virion. If the virus present inside the cell, then it is called virus. Okay. Extracellular infectious particle is called virion, or extracellular virus is called virion, whereas intracellular pathogen is called virus directly. Okay. Then the only direct method to observe viral morphology will be by using electron microscopes. We have two types of electron microscopes. We have scanning electron microscope and tunneling electron microscope. Only with the help of electron microscopes, we can able to detect the viral structure, because viruses are the smallest living organisms. Okay. And also, I would like to show you one example of this viral morphology. So today morning, when I was going for walking, I was encountered a leaf. Okay, a tree with many leaves. So when I closely observed the leaves, I found that the leaf have some tumors. So tumors are nodule-like things on the surface of this leaf. Okay. So actually this leaf was infected by a virus. So here a virus is replicating. Because of that viral replication, this leaf cells has been degenerated and it got a small tumor. So basically this is a cancer to this leaf. So this cancer was induced by a viral replication. So by this, what I was trying to tell is viruses will infect any living cell. It can be a plant, it can be a bacteria, it can be a fungi, it can be anything. All living cells are prone to viral infections. Best example is this leaf virus. And don't worry, this virus cannot infect a humans because this is adopted to introduce its DNA into a cellulose cell. That means into a plant cell. But this virus cannot cause any damage to humans. Okay, so viruses are the smallest living organisms with a size around 20 to 300 nanometers. 20 nanometer virus is parvovirus, whereas 300 nanometer virus is pox virus. Okay, and this virus is, there is one common plant virus called tobacco mosaic virus. So this tobacco mosaic virus will cause infection to the tobacco plants. Okay, so because of this tobacco mosaic virus, crores of money will be lost. Many farmers will get devastating destruction because of this virus. Because of this virus, their crops will be degenerated. The tobacco plants will be died because of this viral infection. Okay, and another best example of plant viral infection is sugarcane. So if you break the stem of the sugarcane, sometimes you will see red color streaks or red color spoiled area within the sugarcane. Actually, that is caused by a virus. Okay, so these are the viral infections. When a virus caused tumors inside a leaf, then these viruses can also cause cancers in humans. Keep in mind. So there are many viruses, especially the herpes viruses, where they can induce cancers in the body. So usually we will say cancer is non-contagious, non-transmittable. But viral mediated cancers are transmittable. If we acquire this viral infection, means there is a chance of getting cancer in our body via viruses. So be cautious with viruses. Okay. Mainly with the sexually transmitting viral infections such as HIV, hepatitis, they're very deadly. Okay. Yeah, so this is all about the size of the virus. Okay, so the extracellular infective agent is called virion, or if the virus present outside the cell, then it is called virion. So this is all about the size. Then second part will be structure and symmetry of the virus. The structure and symmetry of the virus. Okay, so next I will discuss about the structure and symmetry of the virus. Now, these viruses will come in two types of structures. So first I will show you the structure of virus. See here. I will draw a picture directly. I want to take an empty slide here. So I will draw a basic structure of virus here. Here I will draw. So kindly pay attention how I'm drawing the virus. Highlighter, black color. Now students, I will draw a basic structure. See, so first virus will have a genetic material. Okay, so virus may have DNA as a genetic material. Oh, this will be too much big. Where is it? So now I'm drawing the structure of virus. Kindly pay attention. So virus will have a genetic material. So it may have genetic material. It can be either DNA or RNA. Okay. Now this genetic material will be enclosed in a capsid. This will be protected inside a capsid. Okay. So this capsid, this is called capsid. So nucleocapsid, this is called nucleocapsid. So first we have genetic material or nucleus. So this genetic material was protected by a nucleocapsid. So I'm writing NC. NC means nucleocapsid. Okay. Now to this nucleocapsid, it will have different shapes. This nucleocapsid will come in two symmetries. The symmetries of nucleocapsid are, one is icosahedral, one is icosahedral, icosahedral, okay, ICO, icosahedral. So one will be icosahedral, icosahedral. Then other one will be helical. Helical means we have a genetic material. This is genetic material. And this genetic material is protected by an outer shell. This outer shell will be in helical symmetry. That means it will be like a spring. It will be like a spring like this. Okay. So this symmetry is called helical symmetry. Helical symmetry. This is helical symmetry. I'm using the word symmetry for nucleocapsid. Remember, whenever I'm saying symmetry, here I'm emphasizing the shape of the nucleocapsid, not the structure of virus. Whenever I'm saying symmetry, this symmetry is all about the nucleocapsid, the shape of this nucleocapsid. We have only two types of symmetries. Actually, three types. One is icosahedral symmetry, other one is helical symmetry, and third one will be complex. That I will tell later. Okay, so coming to the beginning. So first a virus have a genetic material, then it has a capsid. Together genetic material and capsid together called as nucleocapsid. The symmetry of this nucleocapsid can be either icosahedral in shape or it can be in helical in symmetry. Okay, I should not say shape, rather than I should use the word symmetry here. The shape of this this nucleocapsid can be either in icosahedral or in helical. Now, on the surface of this nucleocapsid, we will see small protein subunits. We will see small protein subunits. These protein subunits are very essential for attachment of the virus. For the attachment of the virus, we need these protein subunits. And these protein subunits are called as capsomers. They are called as capsomers or capsids. Okay, they are called as capsomers, or we can also call them as capsids. They are called as capsids. CAPSIDS. Okay, so capsids are present on the surface of the nucleocapsid. So these are called as capsomers or capsids. Okay, then after capsids, some viruses will have an outer membrane. Some viruses will have an outer membrane. So here I'm drawing a outer membrane. So some viruses will have an outer membrane. This outer membrane is acquired by the cells actually. This is the cellular membrane. So do you remember? So this is a cell. Inside the cell, a virus will present. Now this virus may come outside the cell either by budding, or virus can also come by lysing the cell. If the virus coming outside the cell with budding means, what this virus will do is, when it is coming outside, it will keep a layer of the cell membrane around it. It will keep a layer of cell membrane around it, forming a enveloped virus. The virus that have outer membrane is called as enveloped viruses. ENVELOPED. This is called enveloped virus. Enveloped virus will have an outer plasma membrane. Enveloped viruses will have an outer plasma membrane. So this is called plasma membrane. Okay, this is called plasma membrane. Plasma membrane. Then even for this membrane, it will have some protein subunits. Even to this membrane, it will have some protein subunits. The protein subunits present to the membrane are called peplomers. Peplomers. The protein subunits of membrane are called peplomers. Okay, so this is the basic structure of a virus. A virus will have a genetic material. This genetic material is enclosed within a protein core, protein shell called capsomer. Together, nucleus and capsomer together, it is called as nucleocapsid. On the surface of this nucleocapsid, we will see capsomers. Then some viruses will have a membrane, and such viruses are called enveloped viruses. to the membrane, we will find the protein spikes called peplomers. Then what about the viruses without this cell membrane? There are viruses that does not have this cell membrane. Those viruses will come by lytic cycle, lytic phase of the replication. Okay, I will draw a non-cell membrane virus. So here I don't have a membrane to this virus. Okay, these viruses are called naked viruses or non-enveloped viruses. The virus that does not have outer membrane are called non-enveloped viruses or naked viruses. They are called non-enveloped or naked viruses, whereas enveloped viruses are called enveloped viruses only. Actually, cell membrane viruses are called enveloped viruses. So depending upon the presence of this membrane, viruses are further divided into two types: enveloped viruses and non-enveloped viruses. Non-enveloped virus don't have any cell membrane, whereas enveloped virus will have cell membrane. And depending upon the symmetry of the nucleocapsid, viruses are divided into two types. We have icosahedral viruses and helical viruses, helical symmetry viruses and icosahedral viruses. Now, coming to the cell membrane, this cell membrane is made up of lipids, phospholipids, biphospholipid. Lipids are water insoluble agents. We cannot dissolve water in a lipids. Okay, then how can we dissolve lipids? Do you know how we can remove oil from a substance? Lipids means oils only. We need to use emulsifiers. The best example for emulsifier will be lime juice. You take a glass full of oil, then pour some water, then add lime juice to it. Nimbu pani, you just add to the this solution. Then what will happen? Oil will dissolve in the water, or water will dissolve in the oil in the presence of lemon juice. Or you can also add alcohol to it. Absolute alcohol or 95% alcohol can be you can add this alcohol, and this alcohol will dissolve lipids in the water. Alcohol is one of the lipid destroyer. So if you want to kill an enveloped virus, all you can do is you need to destroy its outer membrane. We know that these outer membranes are made up of lipids. If we destroy these lipids, then the virus will die. So what we can do? We can add some alcohol solution to this virus. If we add alcohol solution, what will happen? This alcohol will dissolve the outer membrane of the virus. If we dissolve outer membrane, virus will die. That's it. So that is why we need to understand the structure of the virus. By understanding the structure of virus, we will know whether it is an enveloped or non-enveloped virus. If it is an enveloped virus, we can destroy enveloped virus by alcohol. Thankfully, corona is an enveloped virus. Thankfully, corona is an enveloped virus. So since corona having this outer envelope, which is made up of lipids, so if there is any virus on our hands, means all we need to do is we need to sterilize our hands with alcohol. If you keep alcohol solution on your hands, the viral particle, the lipid containing viral particle will be died. That is why we have given this protocol of frequent sanitization of your hands with alcohol sanitizers. So this alcohol sanitizers will destroy the lipid cell membrane of the virus. That means enveloped viruses are easy to kill compared to non-enveloped viruses. Since non-enveloped viruses don't have any envelope, they are resistant to alcohols. You cannot kill a non-enveloped virus with a sterilizer, with an alcohol sterilizer, sanitizer. Okay, so this is all about the structure and symmetry of virus. So the basic structure is virus has a genetic core. It can be either DNA or RNA. This genetic core is surrounded by a protein shell called capsid. On the surface of this capsid, we have protein subunits called capsomers. Some viruses may possess outer membrane, which those viruses are called enveloped viruses. And these, on the surface of this outer membrane, we will find protein spikes called peplomers. These peplomers and capsids are important for attachment of the virus during replication. Enveloped viruses can be killed by using sanitizing agents, whereas non-enveloped viruses are resistant to alcohol sanitizers. Coming to the structure, symmetry of the nuclear capsid, this nuclear capsid can be either in icosahedral symmetry or it can be in helical symmetry. Is it clear until here? Any doubts so far? Students, any doubts until here? The structure and symmetry of virus. Are you following me, students?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, so that's it. So we have either
Yes, sir.
icosahedral viruses, yeah, or we have helical viruses, helical symmetry viruses. We have enveloped and non-enveloped viruses. So helical means the nuclear capsule will be like a spring-like structure, whereas icosahedral means it have a icosahedron structure. Okay, then let us see these points now. So the virion consists of nuclear, it can be either DNA or RNA, and the outer protein is called capsid. The capsid along with nuclear capsid is called nuclear capsid. Capsid is composed of subunits called capsomers. It is useful to form impermeable shell around the DNA or RNA, and also it is useful for insertion of DNA during absorption. Then some viruses contain envelope surrounding the capsid. They are called enveloped viruses, and others are called non-enveloped viruses. On the surface of this envelope, we will find protein spikes called peplomers. Enveloped viruses are susceptible to chloroform alcohol agents. Okay, then coming to the symmetry. So here we have three symmetries of the nuclear capsid. We have icosahedral symmetry, we have helical symmetry, and we have complex symmetry. Coming to the icosahedral, this icosahedral symmetry will have 12 corners and 20 facets. There are icosahedral viruses and there are helical viruses. Few examples of icosahedral viruses are Papaver-Picorna, adenoherpes, and toga viruses. They have this icosahedron structure.
Excuse me, sir, your voice is breaking, sir.
My voice is breaking. Just
No,
a
sir.
second.
No, sir.
All right. Okay, fine.
It's having
I-
some network
Anu-
issue.
Maybe I will check. Wait. See, from my end, I have very good internet actually.
Yes,
Sir,
sir.
your voice is not breaking, sir. Good.
Okay,
Anuj
fine.
having
आतुर
some
ये सर की
network
आवाज
issue.
Anuj, I think you have the
Yes, sir, Anuj having some
signal
network.
problem. Okay, check it, Anuj, once. Fine. So coming to the symmetry of nuclear capsid. So we have icosahedral, helical, and complex symmetry. So this icosahedral symmetry has 20 facets and 12 corners. So what is this 20 facets and corners? That I will show you. Now I will show you the structure of the icosahedron. So this is the structure of icosahedron. So here you can see, right? So don't worry, I will guide you to draw this diagram of icosahedron. So kindly follow me. Now I will draw the structure of icosahedron. Let me take another slide. Just a second, let me take a new slide. Can you see whiteboard? Can you see whiteboard?
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, perfect. Now I will draw the structure of a icosahedron. Kindly draw or kindly watch how I'm drawing the icosahedron. So first you need to draw like this, a hexagon. Okay. So first to draw a hexagon like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. After drawing a hexagon, now what you need to do is, see, from the top, draw a triangle to bottom here, to here, and to here. So draw a triangle inside. Okay. Then draw another triangle inside this triangle like this. After this, connect these corners of triangle to inside. This is the structure of a icosahedron. I will draw again. Kindly watch. So first I draw two lines. Then I connected them with alphabet A and alphabet V on top and bottom. Then I have drawn a triangle, an elongated triangle inside like this. Then I have drawn another inverted triangle inside the triangle. Then I have connected the corners of this triangle to the hexagon. So this is the structure of a icosahedron. Now, in the previous slide, I said an icosahedron should have 20 facets. It should have 20 facets, FACETS. Okay, it should have 20 facets. And it should have 12 corners. So what they mean by this 12 corners and 20 facets? 12 corners. Now see students, just count these flat surfaces. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 10 facets on the anterior aspect of this icosahedron, and we will also have 10 facets on the posterior aspect of the icosahedron. This is only one side of icosahedron, keep in mind. Okay, we will have a similar structure on the back side also. So totally 10 plus 10, 20 facets. So these flat surfaces are called facets. Then they say that icosahedron has 12 corners. So let us see the corners now. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 corners on this side and 6 corners on the posterior side of the icosahedron. So this is how an icosahedron will have 20 facets and 12 corners. This is the structure of a icosahedron. A true icosahedron will have 20 facets and 12 corners. So this is the structure of the icosahedron. Okay, so that is the structure of icosahedron. So do you got an idea, students, what is icosahedron and how to draw it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Then we have helical symmetry. So helical symmetry means here the nuclear capsid will be in spring-like structure. Then we have complex symmetry. So this is all about complex symmetry is seen in pox viruses. So in the pox virus, the nuclear capsid is not icosahedron or it is not helical. It is complicated. It looks like a brick. Okay, so this is called pox virus. So depending upon the symmetry, the viruses are of 3 types: icosahedral, helical, and complex symmetry. So complex symmetry example is pox virus. Icosahedral virus examples are I have given here. So icosahedral viruses are Papavo, Picorno, Adeno, Herpes, and Toga. And helical viruses are Orthomyxo, Paramyxo, Bunia, Corona, Retro, and Rhabdoviruses. So they have helical symmetry. Then coming to the shape, shape means it is the overall shape of the virus. There are few viruses that looks like a bullet. Okay, so there are few viruses that looks like a bullet. So those viruses are called rhabdoviruses. Best example is rabies virus. So rabies virus looks like a bullet. That is why it is called rhabdovirus. Okay. And then there are viruses that looks like a brick. That is pox virus. So bullet-shaped virus is rabies and polio virus, whereas brick-shaped virus is pox viruses. So these are the 3 things in the morphology. First, we discussed the size of the virus. Then we discussed about the structure and symmetry of the virus. Then we discussed about the shape of the virus. Depending upon the symmetry, viruses are of icosahedral, helical, and complex. Depending upon the shape, viruses are either bullet-shaped or brick-shaped. And depending upon the structure, viruses can be either enveloped viruses or non-enveloped viruses. In the structure, we have genome. It can be the DNA, RNA. Then it has a capsid. Capsid has a capsomers. And together, genome and capsid together called as nucleocapsid. Then some viruses have envelope. Envelope may possess protein spikes called peplomers. So this is the structure of the virus. Okay. Then chemical nature. The second part of this thing is chemical properties of virus. So virus have nucleic acids. So nucleic acids can be either DNA or RNA. So that is the chemical. First one is nucleic acids. It can be either DNA or RNA. Then proteins. So viral proteins and lipids present in the capsid actually. So the capsid is made up of proteins. Okay. So the viral capsid is made up of proteins. Okay. These capsids will have the antigenic nature. And I forgot to tell one point, students. There is a specific number for these capsomers. See, I said that capsomers present to the capsid, right? So where is the diagram? To this capsid, we have capsomers. So most of the herpes viruses will have 60 capsids. They will have 60 capsomers. Similarly, few viruses have a very specific number of capsomers. So even by counting the number of capsomers, we can able to detect what type of virus is it. So these capsomers will act like a fingerprint for virus. So there is a specific number for these capsomers, and these capsomers are obviously made up of proteins. Okay, so capsomers are made up of proteins. Then last one is viral susceptibility to physical and chemical agents. So virus can be killed at 56 degrees centigrade within minutes, and at 37 degrees centigrade within days, and at 4 degrees centigrade for years it can survive. And viruses such as hepatitis viruses can be instantly, okay, they can be killed at 60 degrees centigrade for 1 hour. And some strains of viruses are resistant to even autoclave temperature. So some viruses are resistant to even autoclaves. So viruses are very strong at surviving. And at minus 70 degrees centigrade, you can store viruses for a very long period of time. Okay, and enveloped viruses can be killed by using alcohol reagents, whereas non-enveloped viruses cannot be killed by alcohols. They need to be sterilized. And viruses can survive in the range of 5 to 9 pH. So 5 pH viruses are enteroviruses, whereas 9 pH viruses are usually normal common viruses. Then virus can also be killed by lipid solvents. It can be alcohol-based solvents can be used for killing viruses. Then viruses can also be killed by using various types of disinfectants. You can use hydrochloric acid, you can use hypochlorite, iodine, or even beta-propiolactone can be used for killing the viruses. And viruses can also be inactivated by radiations. Why we can inactivate viruses by radiation? Because these ultraviolet rays will destroy the DNA, or these ultraviolet rays can able to destroy DNA or RNA. Since viruses are made up of this DNA or RNA, so by subjecting viruses to these radiations, we can able to kill the viruses. So viruses can also be killed by Dettol Lysols, and they can also be killed by radiations. So this is all about the structure and symmetry and morphology of the viruses. So a quick revision of today's lecture. So in today's lecture, we discussed about the morphology of virus. So in this morphology, we discussed about in the morphology, we saw the size, structure and symmetry and shape of the virus. Then we discussed about nucleic acids, proteins and lipids or chemical properties of the virus. Then we discussed about the susceptibility of the virus to temperature, pH, lipid solvent agents, disinfectants and radiation. Now tell me, students, what is the size of virus? What is the average size of a virus?
300 nanometers.
300 nanometer.
What is the 300 nanometer virus? Largest virus example?
Smallpox.
Smallpox. Very good.
Smallpox.
Very good. And smallest virus?
Parvovirus.
Parvovirus.
20
Very good.
nanometer.
20 nanometer. Very good. Then just tell me the basic structure of the virus. What are the components present to the virus? We have genetic material. Then we have capsid, together nucleocapsid. Capsid may have capsomers. Then it has an envelope or non-enveloped. Then tell me the type of symmetries to the viruses. Types of, yeah, tell me the three. Icosahedral,
complex,
helical,
helical.
complex. Then what are the properties of a icosahedron? How many facets it has and how many corners it has to a icosahedron?
Enter corners.
Very good. 20 facets and
12 corners
corners.
and 20 facets.
very good. Then what type of shapes we can see in viruses? Types of shapes that we can observe in viruses. There are two shapes. What are
Bullet, sir.
those? Bullet shaped, very good. Can you give example for bullet shaped?
Sir, true virus.
Rabies.
Rabies.
Rabies as bullet virus or bullet
Yes,
shaped.
sir.
Then brick shaped virus, example.
Virus.
Smallpox. Okay, smallpox is brick shaped virus, and also smallpox is a complex virus. Very good. Then what part of the virus is made up of nucleic acids? The nucleus of the virus, actually, it can be the DNA or RNA. And proteins are, capsid is made up of proteins, and envelope is made up of lipids. And a virus can be killed by temperature variations, pH variations, lipid solvents, disinfectants, and radiations. This is all about the morphology of virus. Okay, so this is the morphology of virus. So this is enough for today, students. We can discuss replication in the next week. Okay. So can I end this session, or do I want to proceed?
End the session, sir.
Yeah, we can end this. Okay. Next week we can see replication. Replication takes 1 more hour actually. So any feedback, students? Is it too tough to learn virology? No, right? Do I need to change any my style of teaching? Any
No,
feedback?
sir.
No, right?
No, sir.
sir.
Fine. So then we can see you on the next week. Okay. So I will give weekend work 4.0. So kindly start writing virology notes. So thank you very much, students. You can read.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, result.
Results of what? 4th semester.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir.
No information, but they are working on it. Maybe within 2 weeks you will get your results.
Tomorrow is a holiday, na?
Tomorrow is holiday. Yes.
Yes, sir. सुन लो सब, मैसेज मत करियो.
Okay.
सर क्या
So-
चीज का हॉलीडे है भाई?
मुहर्रम.
Muharram. Okay. So okay, students. See you.
हरम तो परसों है सर.
बस कल है लेकिन.
Okay. Advanced Muharram and see you.
तारीख का
Yes. Yes.
Thank you,
Eric.
sir.
Tariq, happy birthday.
Yeah, there is a holiday, but yeah, there is holiday tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much. See you.
Thank you, sir.